Let's head back to the voicemail of Truth and Reason.
Hey guys, Dan in Maryland here. I was thinking in terms of bargain basement free agents to potentially help the Browns. I was wondering what you think of the possibility of maybe trying to bring back DPJ. I'm not saying he's our savior or he's the be-all end-all, but he's a solid receiver. We've seen what he can do. He left the team on good terms. We know he can be productive. I think the fact that he had a down year in 2023 could work to our advantage because this time last year we were worried that he was going to price himself out of the Browns. Now I think he's going to be available on a one-year prove-it deal at a fairly low rate, if not even the veteran league minimum. We have to be realistic. This team's going to need some bargain basement guys to help. Given our salary cap issues, we're not going to get T. Higgins. We're not going to get Mike Evans. Let's accept reality. I know Andrew Berry's the master of creating cap space, but just all the various big contracts we have, Deshaun Watson, Myles Garrett, David Njoku, Denzel Ward. There's only so much money to go around. So I think we need to be realistic. And again, I think DPJ is a guy who could probably help this team for a very reasonable price.
As always, appreciate all of the voicemails. Scott, anytime Andrew Berry's been asked about the salary cap, he said they'll be able to do what they want to do. So I'll take him at his word. I'm not sure. And again, I'm not against Donovan Peoples-Jones. I don't know that he'd want to. Would you want to come back to a place that traded you? I don't know.
It's interesting. I think it depends on the person, right? Ego-wise, are you willing to accept that? How did it end? They sent him home, but he didn't really have an impact in Detroit. He couldn't establish a role there on offense, which is tough to do, right? We talk about trades in the NFL. It's tough when you show up at midseason, asked to learn a new system, right? Learn a new quarterback. It's just hard to do for a lot of teams. I mean, a lot of guys. Joe Flacco made it work, but just in general, it's not easy to do. I think that idea is interesting. Peoples-Jones did not have any real impact with the Browns before the trade this year. So I don't know if that leaves the Browns thinking, hey, he's not a fit for what they're trying to do. But we know he's reliable. He catches the ball. He's good contested catches. He gives you some punt return ability, sure-handed back there. So, it's interesting to add him to the pile. I don't think you can guarantee him anything. He'd be competing for reps. Maybe he could get a better opportunity somewhere else in his mind. But the overall receiver thing is interesting, Dave. And you talk about, yes, they can create space, but they do have some restraints, right? Like they can't spend top dollar at every position. They can't do that. The salary cap doesn't allow it. And I don't think the Browns want to pay two receivers big money. Having said that, if they just keep Amari Cooper for the last year, this year, right, 2024, on the last year of his deal, maybe that's a workaround in their mind, right? They can go get somebody else, big money, knowing Cooper comes off the books after 2024. I'm kind of torn there. If they can, in fact, or if they will, in fact, go out and get a guy like T. Higgins, I wouldn't rule it out right now like the caller did.
Yeah, the other thing is they could end up adding a couple of years onto him, to get that number down and bring some. Might not be a T. Higgins, but it might be that next level as well. Cooper's not showing any signs of letting up, so I don't know. I get, the 30-year-old wide receiver, but he's productive.
No, he's really good. And he's a locker room guy you like, right? He's the quiet, shows up every day, works hard, wants to be on the field, plays through injuries. So you want to keep him. And he played like a number one this year. But, right, he's going to be 30. He's had injuries the last couple of years. At the end of the season, he's fought through the core muscle injury in 2022 and then the heel at the end of this year. So there's signs there, right? I don't think you want to sign him for a bunch of years and then be tied down with him. So that's why I think it's kind of an interesting situation, how they'll handle it. Do they go with another established guy? Or do they go young and say, hey, we're going to draft a guy in the second round and add him to the mix, right? And sign a kind of a lower level free agent. I think they have a lot of decisions to make at that spot.